I'm John Stone, conservative Republican candidate running for Georgia's 12th congressional district seat. We're standing here outside our Georgia Gold Dome Capitol, where we just qualified by paying $5,200 to be a candidate in this year's congressional race for Georgia 12. This has turned into an absolute must race. Now, for those of you who didn't get a chance to catch the papers this weekend, I urge you to read Jim Galloway's column from Saturday in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution on this race, to read Sylvia Cooper's column for Sunday afternoon in the City Inc. section of the Augusta Chronicle, and to read Saturday's column by Walter Jones on this race in, I believe, the Augusta Chronicle and the Savannah Morning News, both of which are Morris News Service papers. This race has become probably one of the most dynamic races in the country, and not just for the general election against the most vulnerable incumbent Democrat in the country, John Barrow. In this primary, it has become a race for the heart and soul of the Republican Party. Are we going to be the party of the status quo in Washington that we've seen cave in fight after fight after fight against the Obama administration and the socialist takeover of this country? Or are we going to have new, dynamic, conservative leadership in the House that will stand up for the Constitution and restore this party? I say we've got to have that new leadership, and I became the first candidate in the country to make that pledge back in September and to sign the official pledge with the Republican Trust Fund in December. Well, that has upset the establishment folks in Washington, and if you'll read Jim Galloway's column, you'll find the details on what's gone on in that race, and that the NRCC is now recruiting candidates to run to muddy the waters in this primary and to hopefully block us from winning and voting for those new leaders. Well, guess what? I'm not backing down, now or ever. It's time we stood up for our country, and to do that, we've got to first have a party that'll stand up for our country. And I'm willing to have that fight against the entire power structure in this country if we have to. I need your help to do it. We qualified today. It's now official. We're out there. Other candidates will be pouring in, and we know the Washington establishment is going to be pushing in another direction. If we're going to take our country back, we have to have a party capable of doing it. And we need new leadership in the House in Washington. If I'm an ex-congressman, I'm voting for new leadership across the board with dynamic, new, unapologetic conservative leaders, which will be a big change from what we've had over the last 4 years. Thank you. We'll talk more as this campaign goes on. Be sure and be reading those newspapers over the weekend, and read them again tomorrow. I think there's going to be some more stories out tomorrow on this race and the dynamics of it. This will become a featured race in the country in the primary this time in terms of the future of the conservative movement and the Republican Party. Thank you all for your support. For those of you who already have, I urge you to join me. If you haven't already, I'll be coming through your town and county shortly. And until then, God bless and good night.